Alright, time to get back on this bike here. So I left off looking for cable lube. That was about a 4, maybe 5 hour project. Never did find it. So I used my CRC lubricated cable, pushed them back in the hole up there. So I was getting ready to hook all this up. Meantime, I've been reading some comments about my comments, or at least about my crappy bike here. And maybe some of your keyboard geniuses didn't realize I didn't buy this bike for me to ride. It's I'm in a business. I work on bikes, I make videos, so I was making it for videos where I work on it and do a project for you guys. Yeah, I think the bike's a pile of crap, yes. Motor and train is good. Yeah, I'm good with the powertrain. The rest of it, don't really care about too much. Front end's good. The wheels and brakes are good. You know, the controls are good if you like that style. They're not my style. I'm not a big fan of big open belt drives, so whatever. To each their own. That's why there's lots of different bikes out there. So I left comments about what to do, so I got a whole bunch of comments. So I'm much appreciated for all the helpful advice. Maybe. We'll see. But anyway, on your keyboard commandos, I always think I put tires on wrong. You know, I might not be a complete moron all the time, just some of the time. But I never look at the tread when I put a tire on the tire wheel. Unlike other geniuses out there do. See, the tread on this is going V angle kind of this way, sort of. You know, see how it kind of makes a V a little bit. Whatever. It's a back wheel. I look at the arrow. See how the arrow's going backwards? So that means it rotates this way. Ooh, if it was up there, the arrow would be going that way. Genius. This tire. See how the tire is going the opposite direction. That does not mean I put the tire on backwards. That means these guys right here that made the tire decided this is the tread that they want to have on it in that direction. So if you think Dunlop doesn't know what the hell they're doing, I would contact Dunlop and tell them they're putting their damn tires on the bike wrong. So what I go by is the arrows. So right here there's an arrow buried down here somewhere. Bike doesn't fall over. That'd be a good video, huh? Where was that arrow at? I saw it somewhere down in here. It was hidden. Yeah, wherever it went to. Figures, no, I'm not seeing it. There it is. Right there. Put a little spit on there, you can see it better. So, the arrow's going this way. That'd be in that direction like this. Pretty sure that's the direction that I ride a bike. I do not ride my bike in reverse. I go forward. So the arrow is going that direction. That is how I put the tire on the bike. I don't look at tread. I don't give a squat about tread. Tread doesn't mean anything to me, except tread's getting worn out. But it's still got some left. So, when you guys think I'm screwing up, maybe I'm not. Well, there you go. Geniuses out there. So, don't always go by what the tread looks like. Look at the sidewall markings. That's why they put those on there. Yeah. Alright, so we're going to get back to our cables. That's where I left off last week. So, that's what I do. I lubricate the cables. I use my CRC because I couldn't find my cable lube. Still don't know where the cable lube is. Only place I can think it's in the back of the red Dodge truck that is in the mountains right now because I drove that up to bring down the S10. So there you go. So I got this routed through here. You want to make sure it's not anywhere near the fork lock or where it's going to get pinched on anything, and preferably nice and free moving like this is nice and free moving. See, it moves real free. As you turn the handlebars, it doesn't bind up anything. So it might not be the best looking being out in that direction, but it works. You can also have them come around the back and loop around like this, which will look a little cleaner if you want to. There's lots of different ways of routing cables. There's no wrong or correct way, just whatever works best for you. As long as the cable doesn't get pinched and it's not stretched, you're fine. So in this case here, it's now jammed in there because it's trying to show something to you guys. Now I'm making work for myself. Must be pretty tight somewhere. Oh, there's a loop right there. Okay, that's why it doesn't go. There's a zip tie right here, see it? That's why it wouldn't go. There's a zip tie. It's a surprise. There we go. Alright. Something needs to be done with two hands here. Move zip tie. Get the zip tie all the way up to the front. We can get to it, and you got access to it. Pull the cables out. There we go. Cable's out. Okay, now you got to figure out how you want to reach your cable. You want to give it like it was, or you want to move it a little different. Yeah, it's up to you. I'm not a big fan of my cables sticking out the front like this. Never have been. I don't like them sticking out the side like this either. I kind of like it being tucked into the bike with her out of the way. That'd be like in this direction. So, a lot of times there's a little hole on the top of your tree right here you can go through. If you want to be a little different. These cables are pretty long, so nobody said the cables had to go down the right side of the bike. They can go down the left side of the bike. So, find that zip tie again. Down here we can get to it, because I like reusing my zip ties. Now, it's not because I'm cheap, or maybe it is. Maybe I just like to recycle them green. Yeah. So I only burn nitro and methane, nitromethane and methanol on my race bike. I want to be green too. No dead dinosaurs in my race bike. So when you can't breathe because it's gagging, yeah, it's not because I'm dirty. I'm clean. Okay, where's that thing going to come out at? Right now it ain't coming out anywhere. Limited room here, so. Fingers are too big to get up under there. That's what to make nose pickers for. Grabbing stuff. Yeah, I got to it now. Okay, there's one. Missed it. Missed it again. Yeah, no wonder. Can't see in the dark. Cable's going the wrong way is not helping. Stay this direction, go a lot easier. Okay. All right. Cables about where they go. Right down there. So cables are back where they belong. They come up through here. Zip ties right there, hold them up tight against the frame. They're now tucked in out of the way, so not hurting anything. This throttle needs to be rotated so it's more straight. A lot of times these things are loose, just rotate them like this, but yeah, this one I have to loosen a little bit. I'm taking advantage of the hole that's in the tree. See how this cable's really taut right now? That's because it shouldn't be in that direction. So over here, you can see how we're nowhere near the 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock's down here where this wire's at. And as you rotate the bike, make so you don't go off the into the rack. You know. So as you rotate the bike, that's riding position. If you go all the way the other way, cables are right there. See how they're nowhere near the 4 o'clock as it works. And everything works nice and freely. You got a nice bend area from here, between here and here's your flex joint, which is good. You got about a foot. So that works pretty good. So that's getting everything tucked in nice and clean and out of the way. Now this cable here, you can see how it's pulled really, really taut, and that's not good at full lock. Actually, you don't ride at full lock, but you do park there a lot. When you're going forward, the cable's way out here, which still has that ugly look to it, which I don't particularly like. So you can put that up inside of here, which make it look a lot better. Or once again, you can run it down the other side of the bike here through here and try that method. But that's probably going to get pretty close to your 4 o'clock on the other side. So this one here, we'll have to figure out what to do with it. All of these things you do. Now every time I move this bar, the bike goes this way. If it keeps going that way, we might have an issue here pretty soon. So you got to keep backing the bike up. And we'll back it way up. There, move that recliner way out of the way. You got to pay attention where your kickstand is too. See how far it is to the edge there? And see the tire's way over here now. You be careful. You can run off your rack pretty easy. Now, it looks like originally they had a little clamp right here for holding something, but we're not using that. Okay, so we can get back over to here. So your idle cable always has the spring on it, and your pull cable does not. The idle cable goes in first, that way when you pull on the cable it will collapse the spring and you get a little extra movement to get this hooked up. You also have to have these nuts fully adjusted all the way up to give you maximum room. So preferably you don't want to have a bunch of twists in your cable also. So when you pull on this thing, you got to figure out which direction this is going to go. In this particular direction here, it's rotating this way. So that means the pull cable's on that side and the return's on this side. Now if this went the other direction, you reverse them. So that means we're going to take the cables here, turn these up a little bit. And most of the time there's a slot in these things. In this case it's in the back. So you get the spring, which is not that cable. This cable here. You lift up the spring with your finger. It's hard to do with one hand, especially the cable's fighting you. Anyway, you put the spring inside the tube, and then you run the cable through there, and it'll slide down where it needs to be. Usually I like hooking the cable around the throttle if I can first, which makes it a lot easier to hook up, easily. So you put that in there first, and you do it all the way around the other way. So I need 2 hands, I can't do that with 1 hand. I'm pretty good, but I ain't that good. Unless I had to, then I'll figure out a way of doing it. Alright, so first thing to do is turn the throttle, get as much free play as you can. Move the spring out of the way. Let's go ahead and hook up the cable down here if we can. Space is limited, so get it in there, but I got it right in pretty quickly. And I am on the wrong side. I need to go this direction with it. Okay, get the spring up above your tube there. I push the cable into the slot, drop the spring in, bring the cable down together, shove it, rotate your throttle up the other direction. So now we're all the way back, and we're in there. Now we get the throttle cable, we have this much here. Now, everything's kind of wadded up here in the top, so I pull on this and go back and forth as I'm yanking on this. Yeah, it recentered everything up in there. The cable's wadded up in there. So I only had this much sticking out. Now I have double that. So So you can see how that one's in there like that. And the hole up in there, and the spring's in here. It just doesn't give you a lot of room to go up and down, but you have a little bit, not much. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing on this one. We're going to hook this down inside that whole way over there. And I'll rotate it around and get up into the tube here. Try to take all the twist out you can on your cables up top. So they lay in there nice and freely. So I'm going to try to get the barrel into the hole first. Then you rotate the cable down. I'm at 90 degrees right now. If you have a little screwdriver hole in there, it helps sometimes. Of course, I have no screwdriver anywhere near me. Yeah, I got it though. So if you hold the cable there and then rotate it down, you hear it pop in. You lift back up again, like that. And it should be in there pretty much all the way. Okay, so now we're a little bit short on our length for going in. Really hard to see because you get this breather hose in the way, but you can see how I'm in there right there. You can see how this one here, it's a little short, so you're going to have to pull it up to collapse the spring a little bit to get to go in there. That's why you had these all the way collapsed in here. It looks like we don't have enough room to really get this in here. So we're going to try to just yank on it and see if it'll come up high enough. I have my doubts about that. That is tight. Oh, I just made it. About a 1/4 inch of stretch I had to do. Cables will give as you stretch on them, so I'm actually stretching the whole cable inside the housing longer than what you normally have for free play. Okay, so now that's connected right in there now. So everything's all up in there where it belongs. So it's hard to see because everything's in the way. So anyway, it's in there. Okay, now we go up here, so we got for free play. We just did something. So the cable's not returning back at all. It's all bound up feeling. Just not a good sign. Nothing's freely coming back. See, the throttle's sticking wide open on us. Everything's bound up in here. And the cable here is not routed where it's going to be binding, so that means there's something else is wrong. Probably up in here. Probably dry as hell. And once again, I have no lube, so I just have to CRC it and hope for the best. Or I'll put some assembly lube on it. That'll be nice and thick. First thing I do is unscrew this and see what's going on. Something's definitely going on. I does not have the correct handlebars on here, but it should still be working. Sticking like crazy. Something's definitely wrong. So we'll go ahead and pull this thing completely off, see what's going on. That's why I pre-lube the cables, trying to make it so it'd be easier, but sometimes it doesn't work. You just gotta take it all the way apart and see what's going on. There's multiple things can be causing problems right now. All right, let's get up here and see what's going on up here. Cables appear to be where they belong. It's definitely all bound up. It's not returning at all. I didn't see any pinches on the cables. When the cables get hit in the fork locks, it puts big creases in there and causes issues. But I'm not seeing any problems with any of that. So that one's out. So let's just take this thing all the way apart, see what's going on here. So much for being easy. You see how it works like this. It's working correctly off the bike. So now you got to look up here what's binding up here. So we have a little bit of rust and corrosion up in here. Definitely sticking up a little bit. These are dimpled bars, so they're not round at all. They get real tight right here where they flatten the tube, and that will affect the throttle. And this looks like it's a little bit shorter than stock, so maybe we're getting so deep we're into the bad part of the housing here, or the handlebar. And right here it swells right up. It's probably what's making the tube tight. So you can try putting grease in there and other tricks. You can file the handlebar down right in here, grind it, get it more so it's undersized, not big. You gotta get the rust and stuff off of here, any burrs and anything like that. So I'll go here and find a file. The file drawer. There's a file. Now, chrome's very hard, so you're not really going to hurt the chrome any, but you'll neck off any high spots. You can hear the high spots. Put a little chamfer on the tube, doesn't hurt. What are you looking at me for? Must be up in the handlebar. So the file goes nice and easy. You probably got all the high spots off. So you gotta do that all the way around. Okay, where it's done. Tools away when you're done. Shoot some more lube up in here a little bit. This doesn't really do a lot, it helps a little bit though. It'll free things up a little bit for a while. Okay. So right there the tube gets tight. And it goes on that much further tight. The tube is tight right there. See right there it stops, see? So it only goes on about this far, about halfway. Not even halfway, and then it gets really tight the rest of the way. So these bars are the problem. So what are you going to do about that problem? Grinding is about all you can do. Or get some better bars. Problems, all my bars are not here, they're in storage. So I think somebody shortened this up and we got down in the bad area. So we got to figure out what our problem is here and how bad it is. So let's take our calipers here, measure our handlebar. There's 0. First thing you do is 0 your caliper out, that helps a lot. Okay, so we're about 5 or 6 thou over 1 inch. 0 would be 1 inch. See what our tube is right here. These are usually way out around, but let's just see what we got here. Losing our tube. So we're up about 15 thou. Excuse me, about 25 thou over, roughly. So we should be all right on that. Now this is supposed to have the little brass barrels in there. They're not. It just has the round balls. So the tube will not last as long that way, but it'll work for a while. So now we want to go up here and measure our bar and see how bad it is up here. So right there, you see how it goes bigger? I don't know if you can even see the damn dial on that thing. So there's the dial. So you can see the dial right now is right here. As we go, starting right there, starts going big. And way over here, we're at 27 thousandths right there. You go the other direction, we're at 5. So it's fat right here on the sides, like I already knew. So this needs to be ground down in order for this to work correctly. It's not real bad. I thought it was going to be worse than it is, but it's bad enough though. Okay, so we're about 5 or 10 thou, too much material there. So we got to somehow grind it down. Filing does not work usually. This chrome is very hard. So we got to do is figure out how we're going to get this down. So you can go near the grinder or the flat disc and grind the piss out of it, which makes it really uneven and puts a lot of facets in the grind as you cut it. Needs a lot of facets. If you're real good at sanding like this, then it leaves kind of like waves. Usually the best way of doing this stuff is emery paper. And use it, basically strips of sandpaper. So somewhere down in here in the lathe department, there should be some strips of paper. Somewhere down in here in the lathe department. Yeah. Now this also used to be the file cabinet for the lathe. So maybe I got some sandpaper in the drawers here. There's a brand new roll of it. Where's my used strips though? Here's where I threw all the tools when I moved. Now, if you have a nice new sharp file, it'll cut too, but the problem is brand new sharp files. Okay, now this here is a little more aggressive paper. See, it's a little bit more grit. I don't know what grit it is. It says grit all the way down. It doesn't tell you which one it is, but it's definitely aggressive. This looks like about 80 grit. So that's more what we need to do our job. I'm not seeing my used paper anywhere. Probably not this one. Nope, this is junk pile. Alright. Go ahead and get some paper and we'll be back.